Thank you for joining us for the Advancing Oceanside Podcast, brought to you by the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. The Advancing Oceanside Podcast hosts business and community leaders from all industries to help inform, better educate, and ultimately advocate for a prosperous economic climate here in Oceanside. The Advancing Oceanside Podcast is back. Joining us on today's episode is local Oceanside business owner, recognized Muay Thai instructor, and a role model for our youth, Ruben Rowell Jr. As mentioned before, Ruben is a recognized Muay Thai instructor who is passionate about everything the martial arts has to offer. Ruben goes into detail on why he's so passionate, the awards and recognitions he's received, and how he believes practicing martial arts has and will continue to significantly improve the lives of our Oceanside youth. I'm excited for you to hear Ruben's story, so let's get into it. So welcome back to another episode of the Advancing Oceanside Podcast. Today we are so excited to have with us fitness guru and very talented Muay Thai instructor, Ruben Rowell Jr., principal owner of Extreme Power Gym located right here in Oceanside. How are you doing today, Ruben? We're excited to have you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm great. This is an honor. And I want to say it's like probably 2.5 decades long coming, but hey, it's good.
Hey, we got to get it in sometime. We're happy it's happening now.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's just get into your background right away, Ruben. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the industry, why you're passionate about it, all that fun stuff?
Man, it's loaded. So it's like, okay, I was born in Tuskegee, Alabama, 68, right? And so, I come up in the rural South, and very segregated environment, extremely poor. The first thing I want to call home, well, it was, but believe it or not, I literally grew up in a 2-room, dilapidated old slave shack.
Okay.
No joke, right? My memory goes all the way back to when I was about 1.5 years old. My mom, we were talking about something once, and she said, what did you just say? And I said it. She goes, how do you remember? I go, I don't know. She said I was 1.5 years old. Crystal clear, and I can still remember a lot of stuff. And I think probably about 1 year later, a little bit over 2, we moved and we upgraded to a 4-room sharecropper shack. We went to slave shack, it was sharecropper shack. And so I've always been a really bright kid, but you grow up in a non-affluent environment. I'm being nice how I'm saying it, right?
Right.
No money, poverty to the 20th power.
Right.
And you're being told you're less, you're nothing, you're this, you're that. And, in the deep South Alabama during that time, like I said, the segregation law passed in 64, but it didn't change anybody's mind. They were still the same mindset, same everything. And so there's always been this burning thing with me asking questions, why? And my nature is always that of just being good anyway. And I don't care about what you look like on the outside, what's going on in your mind and what's going on in your heart. So anyway, I get through all of that. And I was the baby in the bunch of my group at the time, which meant, how they say, I'm gonna talk as G-rated as possible because I'm a little bit of a potty mouth and I'm just honest and raw. And people do like that about me because I'm not fake, I'm real. Right. Anyway, as they say, crap rolls downhill. Well, I call all of it. Every day. I'm talking, I was baby, my sister was older than me, all my cousins were older than me, all the people I went through school with, whatnot, you always got somebody ahead and behind, but everybody ahead, I was the one that got dumped on.
Okay.
And I've always been super athletic, muscular, and this and that, but you don't know what you don't know. And then when you're taught to think a negative way, you kind of lean that direction, even though I was conflicted with it because it didn't make sense, but I was still the run. Well, and I was bullied. And when I say bully, I mean beat up. It was so poor. Where we lived was just drug infested. You can find drug and alcohol everywhere. You couldn't find anything else, And so, kids sold drugs and this kind of thing. And if you didn't go along, then, you caught it. Well, anyway, it's just kind of, I got sick of it, but I was real skinny. and this good kid. And, my mom, what could she do? She knew that something was wrong because I come home every day starving. They steal my lunch money, my little lunch bag, and this and that. And so I'm gonna fast forward. So I think around the age of 9, I saw a Bruce Lee movie. And to this day, I still remember it. It was Bruce Lee, the man, the myth, the legend, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, there were no cable stuff back then. It was rabbit ears, antennas, and static, and trying to watch this stuff. And I saw this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I just lit up. And I told my mom, and she said, "You like that?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "We were so poor though, because we lived in Camp Hill, Alabama, really rural area. But we were 15 minutes if you took the back roads to Auburn University."
Mm-hmm.
And so, sometimes we would go once every 2-3 weeks for whatever reason, but there's a YMCA there. So that's why I started learning martial art classes. And I go back home and didn't have anything, but I had pine trees, I had broomsticks, I had bricks. So I built weight room with that, chairs and whatever it took, And Bruce Lee had this thing where he said, make sure you take care of your body and educate your mind. Well, I snapped to just like that. And I worked super hard. So whatever it was I learned in class, even though it took forever to get back, I would feverishly practice in the backyard. I'm doing chin-ups under the tree limb. I'm punching and kicking the tree because it didn't have a heavy bag and so on and so forth. And so I developed a disciplined habit, and my grades went from barely passing to honor roll.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, because I was been bright, but I didn't have a direction.
Right.
I didn't focus,
right.
Mm-hmm. And plus everybody telling me I'm nothing and this kind of thing, right? Yeah. So it takes a while to build your sense of self-esteem and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Well, I got to a point I remember as a kid, I think when I was 11, and right at that point, we started doing competitive sparring. And I remember in that as a kid, I never lost in the fight, but there was one kid I would tie with because he was really good too, but I refused. I was so angry. And mm-hmm. I projected and I took it out, during that time. But this is what the weird part. So I got to a point where I could hold my own with individuals that had skill, but I was still broken mentally because the bullies at school, in my head, I was still crippled, right? But it took a couple of years. And my mom had this saying, she says, every dog has his day. Well, that one day came. And as my dad said, I had all the crap I could eat. I was just done. Right. And I told these kids, I said, leave me alone. And this will be good. And they're like, what you gonna do, little boy? Blah, blah, blah. Because there was this trail. This is how poor the school system was. Zero oversight. We was just thrown away. Nobody cared. You literally had to go through a cow pasture. You ever been in the country?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Go through the barbed wire.
Yeah.
Off school property, and there's cows. Just right?
Grazing. Yeah.
Yeah. You walk this long trail, then you got to go back through the wire, the barbed wire, to get to the other class. Well, that's where they catch you all the time. But you had no choice.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. So I had so much anger built up from everybody just pushing me around, slapping me, and just saying this. And I just had it. And my body got stronger. I knew what to do, but it all came together this one day.
Yeah.
So all I remember to this day. And these boys, they were older. They sold drugs and all sorts of stuff. They were bullying everybody in school.
Yeah.
And their parents was drug dealers, crackheads, this whole thing. And I think about 2-3 years older. And they said, what did they say? Little Ruben, you know the routine. I'm like, not today. And they laughed. And it was 3 of them, and the biggest one reached at me. And it seemed like I just closed my eyes because I didn't see anything. And I opened my eyes and they were laid out. Yeah. So 2.5, 3 years of just getting the crap beat out of me came out in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think I broke a body part in each one of the kids. I freaked out. Yeah. I'm this good kid. I grabbed my books. I ran and I sat and I studied because the next class was a study hall. So I'm sitting there and I'm just panicking, thinking my whole life was over. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get kicked out of school. Because back then they had a paddle this thick, that wide, that long. They would whip you in school in front of everybody.
Oh my goodness. Right.
Yeah. Well, it didn't stop there because they called your parents and you get another beating when you get home. That's old school, right?
Right. So double whammy.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking like my life is over. Right.
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm dead. So I'm sitting there, but I swear nothing happened. not one thing happened. And then these little whispers,
Yeah.
Ruben, no karate. And they can say, I said, no. He said, so no. And I played it down, and it just traveled like wildfire. And needless to say, that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Not like I turned into a bully, but I stood up and it's like, I'm not the one. Find somebody else.
Yeah.
And then it turned out, a few years I started to reflect on it. It was poetic justice because those kids were doing the same damage to others, and nobody did anything. Like I said, there was zero oversight. And so I actually helped the system itself. It's bad, but that's how it went. Right, and then, so that was the catalyst. And I kept that same discipline to this day. It doesn't matter. I mean, I did 12 and a half years in the Marines. I was one of, at the time, 3 fully combat qualified crew chiefs as a sergeant, at the time. Went on and got first degree black belt Taekwondo, did really good in amateur boxing, international kickboxing, got to the professional level. And the thing I really topped out with was Muay Thai, Black Tiger Muay Thai. Yeah. And like in that letter, I tried to explain where, I was only one to complete the syllabus. And because I didn't even find this out until December of 2013 when I went to Beijing. Yeah. I flew there for a master seminar because my teacher, he had went there. He's a super smart guy. And he had 2 of the biggest Muay Thai schools in China. No joke, right? And so I was a senior guy, flew over, and I'm training guys from England, France, Russia, they're top MMA fighters, they're kickboxing, Muay Thai fighters. It's just all I do day in and day out. I ain't thinking about it. Of course, we do ceremony, I get my promotion, and we finishing up 4 days of teaching, and because I was gonna fly out the next day, so we had this big banquet, and we're sitting down and we're talking. And so I said, hey, John, who's the other guys ahead of me, with the black sash? And him and the other cat, they looked at each other, they started laughing. I said, what are you laughing at? Go, Ruben, you're the only one that ever did it. All these years, it was June 1995. So all this time, I thought there was these 3-4 guys ahead of me, and they're like, no, I'm the only one to ever do that. But at the same time, it facilitated all my knowledge. So I tried to concise all of that. So as you say, like me now, the seed of the motivation was how I grew up, the environment I grew up in. And so it drives, and it's something that never goes away. Many people, the way I am and what I do and the people I'm associated with, no one would ever know my background unless they ask, because I don't wear it on my shoulder. Right. Like I said, I don't care what you look like. I care about what's in your mind and what's in your heart. Because you could be a good person or a crappy person, no matter what you look like.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I don't get wrapped up in that. The packaging don't mean anything to me. What's in your heart, this kind of thing, And so it'll never go away. It's like a burning or idle volcano that's sitting there just in case. And my thing is, I've always used all of what I've gone through as medicine instead of poison. Okay. Most people go the other way with it. And, I think I remember now, we first started in kindergarten as a group of us, age of 4. Probably like 30 of us, I think. Only like 5 of us are still around. Wow. Okay. But most of them stayed in that environment. And I always know, like, if I stayed there, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have lived past 32. It was so bad. Right. Absolutely. So bad. Absolutely. But there's a whole lot of other stuff, but that's kind of a condensed version.
Sure. Yeah.
So you know where my drive comes from.
Yeah. No, I mean, your story is incredible, and how you made obviously something amazing out of such an awful situation. I mean, that's truly admirable. And I think that also plays well into my next question, which, why do you think that you're so passionate about martial arts as opposed to, like other forms of fitness? People could be passionate about, just weightlifting or
anything. Right. Well, I've done bodybuilding, and I did really well in amateur, no drug use, none of that stuff. So I have a pseudo passion, if you will. Like, I really did very well at it, even NPC sanctioned event, not pretend, no, the real thing. But to really excel at that, you got to use drugs for the most part. I'm not that way, right? It is what it is. Fitness is important, but the thing is with me and this is me speaking from a grassroots experience.
Yes.
Its overall concern is what's outside. I live inside. So the inside is like, okay, well, how do you make this thing feel better? How do you make this thing feel better? And then not just that, where are you going with it?
Yeah.
What has the longest, like on a candle, what has the longest wick?
Yeah.
What's going to burn longer? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so martial art, if you use it right, fitness is a byproduct. It's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around it, especially if it's something like really rigorous and intense. But again, now you're back to just being fit, where you can go out and jog, you can climb a hill, you can go whatever. That's a form of fitness. Did you increase a skill set? Did you, I don't know, somehow, some way, do you actually really feel confident?
Mm-hmm.
Did your sense of self-esteem come up?
Right.
All that empowering stuff. Some people, yeah, most people know, is missing something.
Right.
It's really missing something. But martial art training, and especially Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, this kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
is hard. There's nothing easy about it.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a harsh environment anyway.
Yeah.
My dad taught me to be a hard worker, so I have a diesel work ethic. I'm always motivated. I'm always enthusiastic, and I'm always ready to go. And I don't know what lazy means.
Right.
It's
a good way to be. It's a
I
good
don't
way
get it. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so with this thing, and the beauty is, especially if you get a good teacher, in Thai, KRU, crew, it means teacher. Ajahn, which I am now, means master teacher, like like professor level. So I teach teachers. Or if the best of the best in Muay Thai now, they come to see me, which they do from time to time. I'll put the polishing touches on them for the top fights. I don't care if it's K1, Pride, Wuling, Fong, you name it. That you know, is that way. And so the bottom line is, even though I've been at this for over 30 years, I still don't know everything. And I love that. Right. Because there's always something else to learn. Now, physically, the body is going to peak, and then it's like, all right. And I did that. I made sure, even when I was in the Marines, I always had this attitude. And I still do this day. I get up, give 110% so I can leave it in the past. I don't believe in regrets. That's nonsense. 100%. So I give, and then your body peaks. Okay, that's that.
Yeah.
So there's no me looking back going, I should. No, I emptied myself.
Right.
But I'm still aging gracefully. I'll be 54 in less than 2 weeks, and I can still outperform most cats in their 20s because they're lazy. Yeah. But it's a lifestyle thing, you know. And so that's where martial art, it's like it's a seed. Like you just a spoon at a time. Yeah. But it's fast.
Oh, and absolutely.
So it constantly feeds the sense of growth and achievement if that's how you are. There's no such thing as being bored, not unless you just, now we're back to lazy. Or maybe it's just not for you. But I see it as, and I got signs throughout my gym where it says the medicine room, because individuals, when they come to me, and I can read bodies, I've been teaching people how to fight, and even in the Marines, I did 12 and a half years, but 10 of those years I was hand-to-hand combat instructor. That ain't boxing, that's kill somebody. Well, I can read you, that's my thing. So anyway, by the time most come to me, because I have a reputation, I've been around so long, if a lady walks in, there's a certain demeanor about her, she's been through something, I already know.
Okay.
If a mom walks in with a daughter, mom is a certain way and the daughter's a certain way. Mom didn't, but the daughter did. I can tell. And vice versa, if it's dad or dad and son or dad and daughter or just the dad or just the mother. Like it, you know, I can read the matrix. Bottom line is something's going on. They ain't happy and they're a little bit pissed off.
Okay.
And it's like, I need some get back. Or I need to know what to do if I'm ever in that situation again. And they know I'm the guy to come to, because I'm not going to just, as I always say when I'm teaching class, I don't sell snake oil and sugar water. I don't do that.
Absolutely.
I don't bait and switch and say it's Muay Thai and you get in here and there's nothing wrong with this. I'm going to just say it, it is what it is. It's not a soccer mom, Taibo, yay, breaking a sweat and you cute with the gloves, but you have no clue what you're doing. You know what we're doing here.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's something for everybody, but then at the same time, it's set up where it makes no difference. I got I've had several disabled individuals I trained that others wouldn't even touch.
Yeah.
I trained kids that were high functioning autistic that no one else would take. They told them no. I recently I got this one little kid. He went through some spine surgery from the right here, the top of his head, down his back. And I can the parents that were in tears because he's a great kid, and everybody saying no, 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 such a liability. Well, I've been at this so long. I got my weird little physical test. I said, well, and he was a cute kid now, and we clicked. He's a spirit thing right off the bat. And I'm like, hey man, let me see you do this. And he did what I asked. I go, all right. Now let me see you do this. And he did that. All right. Now let me see you do that. And he did everything. And I told him, I said, I got him. They're like, really? I said, yeah. You know, of course, signed up for him. We got some stuff. This kid now is one of my best little kids. I think he's 11. He's in the ring sparring. He got picked up. He's like starter as a guard in basketball. Like everybody run up his butt now. But they told him no before.
Absolutely.
But you see, that's what I do. So it ain't just the fighting in here. I actually help people grow. Yeah. I've also, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I've turned around many gang members in Oceanside since 97. 97. A lot of them we still in touch. They joined the Marines, they went out, got the degree. A couple of them work for the government, got their masters, got their families and this and that. Same people that everybody just wrote them off. Yeah. The Bloods and the Crips and this and that, because when I was in the Marines at the time, there were, and I don't know if you remember or heard about it, but 95 to about 97, 8-ish. I mean, gangs was super bad here. Yeah. Really bad. It was trying so bad to be like LA. It was a mess. Absolutely. Well, there was a thing called the gang task force. What happened, all law enforcement and every person in the military, if they were a senior staff NCO, no, not senior staff, a senior like E5 and above, we're all called in to help, and we did. So I was still on active duty and still teaching on the side. Bloods would come in, Chris would come in, and I go, hey, first thing, we all gonna respect each other in here. Right. Leave the color stuff out there and pull your pants up. Yeah. Right. And the funny thing is, there's this old saying, game recognized game. They could see I wasn't being disrespectful. They could feel my spirit that, hey, I came from nothing too. Yeah, absolutely. It's just a split second. I could have turned left many times, but no, I chose to turn right. And I showed them how to do the same thing. Absolutely. It goes on and on. And you'd be amazed what I've done in here and what I still do because I care. I just do. No, and I think that message is amazing, especially just fitness wise. I think a lot of times people get really concerned with, like you were saying, the way that they look and trying to change their body. Instead, it really does need to come from within. I mean, developing that discipline, that work ethic. I mean, because it's hard to get up every single day and go to the gym and focus on these things. Like, shoot, I've tried 100 times, but focusing on, just getting your mind right. And I mean, I think you made it very clear that the martial arts path has that and has those attributes. And those things you really need to focus on. Right. I think now I'm gonna say this. Keep that thought. I'm gonna say this. Sure. What breaks my heart, I'm not the only one that's a solid Generation Xer, because that's how most of us went through, this grassroots way. Yeah. There ain't a whole bunch of people like me left, meaning that we actually give a damn, care about the community. It's not just talk. Right. It's just the BS. You have to do and be involved and give a damn about somebody. Absolutely. It's now cross the T, dot the I, count the money, and send you out the door. I'm gonna tell you something. We did not see when I was down at Black Tiger from 93 to 96, 7-ish. We didn't see the fight sport becoming what it became, because back then we were doing it. Everybody called us crazy because Muay Thai, it hurts. Yeah. You gotta have a high pace. Just the training itself, but I swear to you, it transforms you though. If you just get through the first 2-3 months of everything sore and got a couple of blisters and a bruise, and also just the training. You ain't even fought anybody. Just the training. Right. You change. I get it. Your whole life changed, and it becomes a form of medicine. But now with the advent of MMA, which that was no hold bar for a while, you know, the UFC went bankrupt that as an industry, I don't know, 7 or 9 times, something that I don't know, multiple times that they figured out the business model. Well, it shifted attention. So you got the grappling and the submission wrestling and also stuff, and the sloppy when they were hitting each other. And then they were, wait a minute, how do we clean that up? Then they got to find people that teach Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Well, Muay Thai get involved, but then only to a point. Like I always, and I'm not the only one, because I'm involved with, like I said, all the major organizations. I'm an old head, you know, we part of the thing itself.
Right.
When it comes to those, we're like a tool. And I get it, a means to an end.
Yeah.
But then they'll go and like the big facilities say, yeah, they teach this, when in fact, that's not what they're teaching. Because you get in there and it's some watered down version. And then, and I even remember when I first started teaching in Oceanside, because it wasn't even around at all. Mm-hmm. What we do, ultimately, it is full contact, you know, or you learn that. Who cares what you want to do it for, but that's what you learn when it's all said and done.
Right.
Well, the majority of martial art places around didn't do it, but there was always 5 to 10% of that student base that wanted it. And my name always came up. They said, well, you got to go see him. Right. So all these years, that's how it worked. Mm-hmm. Now with, you know, the MMA facilities, almost everyone around here, I've taught almost every single one that's there to some degree. I've been at it that long. And then what happens when there's a serious person that really needs to learn, my name comes up again. They go, no, you need to go see him.
Right.
Fact. Right. That's how it is.
No, absolutely. Well, good for you for having that reputation. That's awesome. I mean, and that's hard to get, that's for sure.
But now, see, on that note, I am not for everybody, because I don't sugarcoat. I don't have a filter when I'm teaching. I actually love what I do, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, because you can't grow if I'm worried about your feelings. This ain't no feeling thing. Sure. No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that also that goes back into play of the transformation within that you were talking about is, and that's why I really do love, you know, the local gyms that we have here in Oceanside, because I do feel like the trainers and the instructors care so much more about their clients, rather than if I was to go to, like, you know, a 24-hour, nothing against them. I know. It's definitely going to be a lot more personal. That's right. And then obviously you are the owner of Extreme Power Gym right here in Oceanside. What do you, I mean, you've talked so much about it already, but your gym. No, you're fine. I'm enjoying all of it. And I mean, I'm thinking through everything you're saying as well and relating it to my life. You know, I feel like I'm going to come out of this transformed, truthfully. Yeah. What do you think your gym's focus is, your ideal client? And then also, what made you choose Oceanside as, your gym's location? In all honesty, when it's all said and done, my ideal person, client, student, is just a real individual. Okay. Because I'm telling you, I got everything in here from 4-year-olds to 69. Okay. That's a big spectrum. Yeah. Male, female, it made no difference. Yeah. Military, law enforcement, corporate, school teachers. I've been at this so long now, it's kind of funny. A bunch of them that were in middle school about 15, almost 20 years ago, they're school teachers throughout Oceanside now, and they send kids here, but they know it's like, no, you go see him, they're not for play. Right. As well as quite a few of them, they're not necessarily school teachers, they're doing other stuff. Some of them come back as students because they're like early, mid-30s right now, and they bring their kids in class too. Yeah. But they come back to me, it's like, no, you're going to get straightened out in here. Yeah, 100%. It's not play. Right. So it's just, and I'm talking real, regular people. Yeah. If a person that's all about, hey, I'm cool, check me out, and this kind of thing, wrong guy. They don't last long. Right. Individuals that superficial, shallow, forget it. Because it's back to, they're more concerned with outside. Right. They ain't concerned with getting this thing clear and strong. And they're not trying to fix this. They, in their mind, they already got it figured out. And I'm thinking, well, okay, to a degree, but I see where there's room for improvement, but they don't want to hear that though. I can't help them. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like the martial arts is also just a very humbling experience. Because like
Yeah.
it's painful.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, I would go to the trainer, and she had a quote on her wall that said, "Pain is just fear leaving the body."
Yep.
And that's immediately what I thought of when you said that, because it's true. You know, once you feel it, once you're humbled, you're able to move forward. And I mean, that's incredible.
I got a sign outside at the door as you come in, and I'll paraphrase because I read, but it says, "Leave your ego outside."
Right.
And then I say somewhere that you may be a professional at your job, but here you're a student.
Right. Yeah.
You get your mind right when you come in the door. Don't come in, well, I know. And I'll say, well, why are you here?
Absolutely.
And then I've been at this so long. I go, you know what? If you know more than me, why don't you teach?
Right.
And I said, and if I catch you in one mistake, I'm gonna rip your pants off in front of everybody.
Right.
You can't fake it. It's not an act.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh no, 100%. So I actually want to go a little bit more into the recognition that you received as the sole head of the Black Tiger Muay Thai system here in North America. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you earned that, what that means to you, what it is?
Well, it's an honor that I did not see coming. Because like I said, I thought I was behind some people, when in fact, no, I was the only one behind the head guy forever, and I had no clue. I just learned what I learned and did what I did and do what I do, because that's what matters anyway.
Yeah.
And in the World Muay Thai Council's eyes, WBC Muay Thai and all the rest, no one cares what you say. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, it's almost 3 decades and I eat, sleep, and crap this.
Right.
I've taken people that walked in, knew nothing, and turned them into something.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm constantly in it, it's like by default. He's like, man, it has to go to you, because the Black Tiger Muay Thai system originally, and it's actually throughout the world. Like oh my God, there's so much to explain with it. So I'm gonna try to make it tiny.
Yeah.
What I learned at the time, because we were in our 20s at the time. Like my teacher, I think he's 4 years ahead of me. So we were still in our mid to late 20s, prime physical years. So we could do things at a professional level at that. And I mean, we went to the nth degree with it.
Yeah.
I did it all. So what I did with the original program, it was almost like a stitch in time.
Okay.
But like I said, there was a whole bunch of other guys there, but I didn't realize it broke them. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I learned. That's what I teach. And to this day, I've certified probably over 50 first level. Out of that 50, I got 6 or 7 second level. Out of the 7, 2 are seriously trying to go to third.
Okay.
One more is kind of flirting with the whole third thing, because it's so hard to get the fourth and forthcome crew, which is similar to Black Sash certified instructor, because I didn't change the syllabus. I didn't change the curriculum. I kept it original. And that's what basically Grandmaster is happy about. I didn't sell out.
Absolutely.
I didn't. It's like I'm keeping what was, and you really have to be a diamond in the rough to pull that off. I mean, like I said, I had no idea I was the only person to complete that syllabus in the first place.
Yeah, no, that's very impressive.
But that's where all my knowledge and information come from, because you go through it. Like it's hell.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
It ain't nothing like any other, karate, kickboxing, this kind of thing. When I was in the Marines, I was stationed in Okinawa, and I got to train with the guy in Naha, south of the island. At that time, he was the current 2-time All-Japan Kyokushinkai champion. And that's their full contact. That's their zenith of full contact fighting. And it's not bashing. It is what it is. They had their kickboxing gym. Well, I went in there and I done had so many beatdowns and whatnot. You talk about being humble.
Yeah.
I got no ego. I know what I can do. I earned this.
Right.
They know I'm walking in like, oh, no. Total humility and respect, because you don't know who's in the gym anyway.
Absolutely.
I got to show respects kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And told them my background. And they said, okay. And I said, listen, I know nobody worked for free. I paid the first month dues. I paid them right off the bat. And they watched me shadow box, and he asked me to tell them about myself. I had already been certified and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And I was the only one that could run neck and neck with my teacher at the time. And he was an Intercontinental and North American WKA super lightweight and junior welterweight pro Muay Thai champion. So I was working at that level, skill level. But big deal, I earned it. I went to hell to get that, right? Yeah. So I get there, and he said, hey, would you mind sparring these two guys? I was like, sure. So I spar, I play around with them. I thought they were like semi-pro amateur or whatnot. Come to find that, those were his two top pros. And I didn't say anything. And I was like, okay, this is what he did. He went in the office, came back, gave me my money back. He said, Ruben, you don't pay. He said, can you help me train them? Yeah. Day one. Yeah. I said, yeah. His name is Masaki Osato. He's still there. Maki Dojo. All these years going by, and we still best of friends. Yeah. Dig that. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Across from Camp Foster, there was this thing called Okinawa War Ring Boxing Gym. So my hands were really good at the time. I went in, not just Muay Thai, but my boxing skills were real good at the time. Yeah. So I went in there because I wanted to work on boxing 2 days a week, and then Muay Thai 2 days a week, in addition to my combat job and also stuff. I was a maniac in my 20s. I just tons of
It's the time to do it.
If you're gonna do it, you better do it then, you know? Yeah. And so I went in there, great gym, you know, everybody doing their thing. They were like IBF, WBC, WBA ranked fighter. They were tiny, but they were legit. Small gym, and then no BS in there. And the head guy was named Nakama. He always, you remember the Smurfs cartoon?
Of course.
You know Papa Smurf?
Yeah.
This Japanese dude literally looked like Papa Smurf without the blue. I'm not kidding you. Yeah. Had the corn pipe and everything. He was the boss. Me and this dude got along just right off the bat. Yeah. Paid the money, signed the paperwork, this kind of thing. First day workout training, he said, Ruben, you come here. I went in the office, same thing, gave the money back. So your money no good here. So what do you mean? He said, no, you good. You know a lot. You help us, we help you. No lie. Yeah. Nakama, his son owns the gym now. He reached out to me on the Instagram because I thought I was talking to Nakama, and he said, no, he passed away recently. And I was worried it was from COVID. He said, no, but he and what's funny, his son was a little boy that he remembered me. And he said, I can find it somewhere on my Instagram where he said, he messaged me, went back and forth, and he said, Ruben, you still inspire me all these years. And he sent a picture that we took as a group back then. Yeah. He was a little run. So he owns it all now, but it just keeps going. Yeah. It just keeps going. So it's like Muay Thai had mastered the real science on your feet fighting. Because Nakama, we would sit in the office after training every day. We would talk about Zen, Buddhism, and this kind of thing, and cultural stuff. And he told me that in Tokyo, in the early to mid 60s, they had 5 of their best full contact fighters fight 5 Thai fighters in the ring. He said every single one of the Japanese fighters got knocked out in the first round. Wow. And they just try not to talk about it. He said, but it's not like they didn't know. China and Hong Kong, same thing happened around the same time. They got their best kung fu fighters. They call oh my God, it's called I used to know the name of it, but it's a form of full contact fighting with the Chinese kung fu. Same thing. Every single one got knocked out in the first round. So it's like it's a superior thing. No, it got nothing to do with it. It's the science of it. Yeah. Well, now Japan, Korea, because even in the 90s, Saudi Cup, so North and South Korea, throughout Japan, and all of China, they fully embraced Muay Thai. They wouldn't even cross cultures back then in the 90s. They wouldn't do it. They're like, no, we're Japanese, Korean, you this. Their ceremonies, that I had a couple of students come in, you know, the way we show respect, that's what I was just doing. So you'll see a Chinese person totally respecting Thai culture, Thai way. It's not like it's a sellout, it's a part of what they just learned. Absolutely. It's so deep, it's so rich, and it's why I love it so much, and all of us in it, like, we'll die doing it. We'll die teaching. Absolutely. And I think that
that respect aspect too is just so important cultural wise. Just to have respect for the art of it and the strength it takes. And I think that's something that's really important that can be taught through martial arts. I have just a couple more questions for you here. One of them, I actually want to jump back and talk about, I guess, kind of where you see martial arts in Oceanside, where you see, or how you see it benefiting, you know, the community. I know you talked a lot about that. And yeah, just if you could just describe, I don't know, I guess
how I see it overall, because like I said, I'm the old head. I think that consistently I'm the only one that has endured from the time I started all the way through now, because most they come, they go, and then some try again and also stuff. So I've been able to panoramically see all of it, the different changes. And again, it goes back to MMA, where it put it in this position. Because it's funny you say that. When I first opened my first facility, I put Muay Thai at the top of the sign.
Yeah.
People would walk in and they're looking around as we're looking for it, and they're looking for Thai food. They thought it was a restaurant. So after 3 months, I put the sign down, I put kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what it meant back then. I'm not kidding.
Right.
And so then now what I do with my sign, I don't buy, I just say Thai boxing.
Okay.
So I make it easier for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, so I stay consistent with the same thing with education and indoctrination, so people understand and really learn and grow. Well, then when MMA did what it did and it threw the name out there, so at least the name Muay Thai is way more circulated than it ever was before.
Right.
The problem is that you kind of buy what you see, but don't realize what you're looking at sometimes. So when the market is saturated with that, you go into a place, oh, well, there's Muay Thai. But if you stay at it long enough, and when you see real Muay Thai and go, wait a minute, that's not Muay Thai. This is pieces and parts of Muay Thai.
Right.
And whoever is there said, well, so you really want to learn that? Well, that's what the science said.
Right.
Back to what I said before, then my name always comes up. Like, if you really want to learn that, you gotta go see him.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
In a nutshell, it's very commercial. There are many Brazilian jiu-jitsu places now, which is great. It's not my thing. I totally respect it. Jiu-jitsu been around forever. It didn't just start. It just got highlighted because of MMA, the UFC, Bellator, and this kind of thing. So it's turned into quite a bit of individuals. Hey, I can make some money.
Right.
I remember, as a matter of fact, and you can probably check the records on this, there was a time period, so 2012 now, I want to say 8 years back, there was about a 3-4 year window. There must have been like 12, 13 martial art, MMAs, whatever. They just popped up like wild weeds.
Yeah.
Within 2 years, they closed because they didn't know what they were doing. So it was about, I think out of all of them that popped up, 2 or 3 still around.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. So when you ask the question, you can check. I'm not bad mouthing. Look it up. It happened. And I just sat now watching. It's like, now we're back to individuals. It's a widget.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the cool thing now. I'm gonna sell this. Right. And it's like, hold up. You can't sell what's not real. Because there's a contrast between the two. Like, yeah, but so and so and so, it's like this. Well, that's that hard stuff. No, that is Muay Thai, dumb.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So it's settled down now. I think it's more of a there's a reference point of different grades and the jiu-jitsu and individuals that have built and maintained their reputation, because you got to work hard for that.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know that field, but I do know a handful of the guys, and they're solid. They're not for play. They the real deal with that, and they love what they do.
Yeah.
So they express and exude pretty much the same energy that I do. It's just that form.
Yeah.
So for the solid individuals one, great, every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Question mark is I'm sorry, it is what it is. It's the big facilities where it's still more of an activity. Because I like to kind of sum it up with, there's a big difference between teaching what we call imitation of movement and not execution of technique. They look the same, but they're not the same.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's just being real. You know, that's the industry. I still want, but you know, it's just my big heart. I wish that everybody would sincerely give a damn, period.
Right.
That would change everything. That would make it so easy. You know, I can't remember what I did. Oh, one of my students, that's like I said, he teaches in middle school. I didn't know that there were like 6, 7 different school districts in Oceanside. I had no idea there was so many schools around here. Well, middle school is an issue. That's when the bullying and the fights start, like really, really bad. And I get parents come in and they don't know what to do. Right. And I listen, and I go, ma'am, I got it. Or sir, I got it. I've been doing this 20-something years. I already know what to do. Right. Well, I'm hoping that conversation is happening elsewhere. I hope I'm not the only one. It's not, hey, you know, we got this deal, and you know, and then we throw this benefit in, sign right here.
Right, exactly.
Just push the contract, push the sale. Do you care? Yeah. Well, how can it be when it's not about learning? It's about numbers.
Absolutely. And I think.
Hold on. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, go. Girl.
I think it's really nice that you brought up like the aspect of like bullying happening in middle schools, because I think there are so many kids that do get bullied and then they have this anger in them. They don't have a release. They don't really have a place to go to. And if your gym is able to provide that, and then while also giving them just an opportunity to release and get rid of, you know, however they're feeling regarding any, you know, activities that are happening at school. I mean, I just think that that's so important for kids to be able to also learn, you know, the discipline and the respect and all the things that you talked about developing within these kids, but then also just giving them an opportunity to feel good about themselves, even just through exercise, because obviously exercise, happy endorphins, all that good stuff. But just giving them this space, I think is just so important. And I obviously applaud you for, you know, providing that and accepting all of these, you know, all of these people in and truly caring about them. I can see that, that you really do care about their well-being and also the well-being of our community.
Oh, like I said, I'm not one to talk. I live it every single day, and it is not a game. A lot of the young teenage boys, when they come in, 40 cup, over the years, I've ended up being like the dad they didn't have. Yeah. I wear so many hats in here. I'm the uncle that some didn't have. And a lot of them, especially, and it's sad, but it is what it is. And I got a huge kids program. The majority of the kids and kids program is the family broken. Yeah. That's not in the picture or something like that kind of thing. And boy, girl, whatever. Well, I end up being an example of what a good man is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had many teenage boys from early on, and then they got to be here between 3 to 4 years, 2 years, maybe, to reach them between 3, 4 years. And they blossom, they graduate and go on this kind of thing. Yeah. And they can look back. And 2 or 3 times, first time I heard it, it shocked me because I didn't know what, like, wait, what? Yeah. This is what a young man said to me. And he graduated, got he's like a IT guy, and just, he was straight knucklehead when he came here though. It's funny. Yeah. He said to me, he said, because I was crew for a long time, crew, like I said, before I got promoted. Yeah. And he said, crew, he said, I want to tell you something. I said, what? He said, I really didn't know what it meant to earn anything until I came here. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I just didn't get it. Yeah. He said, I wanted to quit so many times. My mom wouldn't let me quit. I was like, yeah, because I kept my foot in your butt. And he was like, I know. Yeah. He said, but when it clicked, he said, what you teach, it applies everywhere. I said, that's what I've been saying. Absolutely. That is the point. That right there. And so, like I said, in my gut, my everything, I'm just hoping more do the same. And you know what? And whether they do or not is irrelevant. I'm going to do my part. And I'll go to the grave giving all I got, and that's that. But it'd still be nice if others gave a damn, though. that's my thing.
No, absolutely. Well, we've gone over so much today. It's so clear that you're very passionate about what you do, passionate about the people that you serve. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to join your gym, where can they find you? What's your website? I know that we didn't get a chance to really talk about your podcast. If you want to mention that too as well, like I'm excited to hear it too. But yeah, give us all those details.
So well, it's just extremepowergym.com, all spelled out, extremepowergym.com, the website. The Instagram, you can find me on Sut Yad Palung, SOOTYORDPALUNG.com. The YOD podcast, same thing, THEYODPODCAST.com, like that. And you know, or it's funny, my daughter, you know, she's full grown and now I'm a young grandpa and whatnot. Back when she was a teenager, she was like, Dad, you ever Googled yourself? And I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? I'm thinking, who Googles themselves? And she said, you should. I said, why? She said, all that stuff you do is there. So if you Google my name, it ties into everything.
Perfect. That's like built-in SEO for you. It's already there. You don't even have to pay for advertising. Google did it for you.
Yeah, I said, wow, I didn't realize I had such a footprint, but it's good though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have one final question for you. You probably already answered it, but what does it mean to you to advance Oceanside?
It means everything. It kind of ties into, like you said, like you said, why did I decide to land here?
Yeah.
Well, when I got stationed here first time, October of '90, off of embassy duty. And then I was at Pendleton Mastery, and there's a storm, then all of the exercise did in '93, did the Operation Restore Hope for Somalia. And the atmosphere and just the vibe here, for me, is just cool. I just fit right in because it's pretty laid back, it's pretty chill. It was a little rough at the time, like I said, the gangs and this and that,
I remember.
But still, when it's all said and done, it's still good, you know.
Yeah.
And it only got better all these years, and then we cleaned up what used to be Hill Street. You remember that mess? And you follow what I'm saying now. So everything just went up, and it's just, I just love the vibe and the fact that it's a huge melting pot. Absolutely. And it's just going to get better and better and better. Sorry cup. It's so that's why, and I like being a part of the whole upward motion, because as far as I'm concerned, I was going to do that anyway, whether it did it or not. Right. Because if you think about it, it's like I've been in the trenches the entire time. Sorry, cup. I've been in the trenches the entire time, whether it was down or up. Yeah. Because this is just a great place, you know. I mean, I grew up in the South. Lucky for me, when I was in the Marines, I've been around the world like 5 times. I've been in so many different countries. I've experienced so many different things. So I've gone from, I know what it's like to live in poverty and live like a king. No joke. Yeah. Being totally honest. Yeah. But this place right here is just, it's mellow, it's cool. It's home. It's home. That's right. It's home. It's home. Well, Ruben, this has been awesome. I'm super excited I got to sit down and chat with you today. Your story is incredible, and all the good that, you know, you took from such a bad situation and turned it into all this is absolutely admirable. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. You ever need anything here at the chamber, by all means, reach out to us. I'm glad that you're getting involved. And like I said, we were really excited to sit down and chat with you today. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate everything, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Advancing Oceanside Podcast, brought to you by the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. Continue with us on our journey to help inform, better educate, and ultimately advocate for Oceanside. You can view all of our other podcasts on any podcast listening locations, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or visit our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to catch all the latest updates on all things Oceanside. Join us next week as we host another influential leader from our community.